This is the cutting edge, and I FM there with you next Wednesday.
This is Black History Month. You know, we always celebrate Black History, but in February, we kind of emphasize it more because we feel, say, African people need to really get into themselves more. And one of the things that you can do is read. If you can't read, you go to the Google thing or the YouTube and forget about the little little and find something educational as relates to the contribution of African people to world history and civilization. You know, see, especially the millennials, them we attack, you know, and the little youth, them out there, we always have flash them iPhone and I look for Rary and Lele. You understand? It's that full up a whole heap of one head now. Them don't want nothing educational to make them think positive or think in a way where them can go to them brethren and say, tell me something, what you think about this or what you think about that? You understand? Man, those shows all sort of like a foolishness. So, this period of the year, February, is celebrated as such, where you reflect on the contribution of African people upon world history. And it's a great history too, great history. We have things where, if you start to examine them, you never even know, say, them things that did come out of Africa. All the very concept of God come from Africa. But people don't even know that. A lot of the things that people say as Christianity, the rituals and the arguments that is given by Christians, it have a genesis in Egypt, or what we call Kemet. You know, Kemet is the name for Egypt before it was Egypt. You understand? And you have a guy named Alexander the Greek. People call him Alexander the Great. Him go there and take a whole heap of the books them out of the libraries them. Them call it Alexandria for him and him burn it down. As usual, them burn a lot of the books them and what them think them can use, them carry go back to Greece and really use it for them own purpose and really change up the historical references to Africa and make it look like, say, a lot of these things happen in Europe. And you hear about, man, when you go to school, you hear about Pythagoras. Pythagoras was studying in Egypt for 20 years. So all of those theorems that you hear about Pythagoras, A squared plus this squared equal that squared and all them something there, it's not originally Greek. A lot of the philosophical reasoning and arguments is not originally Greek. You them talk about Plato and Socrates and all these people, Homer. Like when Africans was formulating what we call science and technology, there was no argument about Greece and Rome and all these places. Them places never exist as a nation. Them places never exist as countries that one can say this place exists and that place exists. Thousands of years before these places was, Africa was, Egypt was. You understand? And then you have Ethiopia. You have even the Sumerians. The Sumerians is one of the most ancient, what we call, people who formulate a lot of the things them that we take for granted now. Them formulate these things. So what we are getting is like a fringe. Fringe is copies from copies from copies and copies and copies till it reach long as so now that it lose the original essence. And people now come and believe in things that them actually believe say so the thing go. And most of these stories is mythologies. But you can't tell people nowadays that certain things where they talk about no is mythology. They must say where you get them foolishness from. But we know some of foolishness. We know some whole heap of the belief systems. A whole heap of the belief systems derive from other ancient principles. Even we are talking about ancient principles, even in Persia, the Sumerians did have certain belief system, certain systems that them use. Even scientifically, you did have the Indian them who have the Buddha. People ever want to talk about the Buddha. But the idea of Buddha, all the attributes that you say, them say Jesus will have. The Indian, them claim that Buddha did have it. The Chinese, them claim that Buddha did have it. And Buddha did exist 500 years before the man with them call Jesus. 500 years. Did you know that Buddha was said to born on the 25th of December and he died and was risen and is said to come back again? Did you know that when you say Amen, it's coming from the sun Aman Ra? The Christians, even though they fight against what them call paganism, use pagans' way and words to deal with for them religion and don't even know it. It's like ignorance is a blissful thing. So when we talk about all amen, a whole heap of Christians don't know the origin of amen. When them say amen at the end of a prayer, amen at the end of a prayer is what the Egyptians do when they're giving praises to the sun, and them say amen, Aman, Ra, Ra the sun, the eye of Horus. When it on the right, it represents the sun. When it on the left, it represents the moon. All these things is very important, because if we had known what we know now then, or if we didn't know then what we know now, or whatsoever, things would be different. What we know now, if we had known it before now, things would be different. And that is really what we need to do now. We need to recapture our history. History is very important, because history defines you in the space, in this time. And if you don't have no history, and if you can't identify your history, that means that people, other group of people will wagga you all over the place. Make you just go either and either and don't know where you're going, and make you believe in some really strange belief systems. Strange. I mean, like strange things. If you start out and say 1 and 1 is 3, then 7 and 5 can't be whatsoever you say it is. You understand? Because you start out wrong, you end up wrong. So, we need for what we call Sankofa. The bird that fly and then turn back and look behind him. You have to go back to come forward. How much time you hear these stories told? I know a lot of you don't hear it many times, but so much things have been said on this radio station that's unbelievable over the years. We're talking about how history shape a group of people in the present. And if some people come and change up the history to satisfy themselves and them group and put you in the dark and make you feel, say, you're not a part of world history, you're not a part of how the earth shape. We are talking about spiritually, economically, socially, culturally, and all the other alism you can think on. African people have a foot inside of those things. We have a foot in it. And it's just through them don't want to really wake up from the sleep and slumber. Why people can just take over here and throw over there and take over here and put over there so. And then we just accept, we lot. This is how it's supposed to be. And we just accept it. Meanwhile, other nations is moving forward, is striving. Striving, me say. That is what other nations is doing. So, we just want the people them know, say, it's very important that we synchronize now with them. Synchronize it. What has been before us have a direct relationship to what is happening to us right now. The ignorance that we claim bliss in is something that we need to come again, rewind, and figure out. It's not so it's supposed to go. It's not supposed to so it go. We're not so terrible more than everybody else. Even though people want to tell us, say, the reason why we are going through this, are true with sin against God. So with other nation, we have murdered other people, and have murdered them not sin against God. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is the cutting edge on IRFM. The relationship where we don't have with history, and how history feed into what is taking place here right now. And some people take it lightly when they hear about history. You know, even at school. When I like at school, it's European history, I didn't know. And them teach about all of the Cromwells and all of the Napoleons and all of them things there. Now, we come of age now and we have a knack for finding out things. So we dig deep and find out, say, the things them that should help we and benefit we was not taught. You understand? It was not taught. Because they would have prefer you go to church than go to school. That is really what's happening. They would have accept you more in church than in the school, especially if it's a certain ilk from the society. I mean, know that about Rasta too. They would have prefer if a Rasta have a lock said and him come at church, him is welcomed. Well, school is a different thing. So you can say how them run the thing. Indoctrination, education. And right now we need educated African people. Educated. And you have some people that them educated, but them use them education for do evil things and spoil things. We need some education where we can build things, build societies, build science and technology, build, not break down. And we have to do that with self. Because the system, the school system has failed us in many ways. Whole heap of ways it failed we. What I am doing now and what I do when I leave school, I never learn where I do in a school. Most of the things where I come now, come live by and come earn after. It's not in a school I have it, and I know a whole heap of youth out there can say the same thing too. But you have things where you learn out a road where make you incomplete. Yes, you're incomplete. Certain things make you incomplete. Certain influences, certain of your peers, them do have nothing to contribute to your positive development. Nothing. Hang-arounds. People who wait and pitch by you. Nothing them contribute. Because them don't have anything. And when you look on the youth them on the roadside, early morning, you see them on the roadside with a plastic cup and little liquor in it and a spliffing at them hand. You know, say, something is wrong. How come the youth them couldn't have a book in them and talk to one another about it? And if them have something where them can observe, it's upon the iPhone. And what upon the iPhone is not something that is desirable to make someone become a better person in them life. You understand? Better person we are work with. So when we come on this Black History Month now, we talk about what is it that we're not getting. Something we're not getting. We're not getting it because it come like the politicians and the preacher them is bad habit, continuous bad habit. Nobody wants to try something new. Them is following the colonial master continuously. And you can see that in the society right now. And you can see the influence of these things in the society. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to do anything about it. You know? So, we are recommend learning. We are recommend going into the iPhone. Because we can't say book again. Because you have no youth. Unless you go to school. But you have no youth to walk up and down with book in your pocket again. Or even have a book in your hand. You understand? Because this is not the days now for book in your hand. This is the days for iPhone. And it's the iPhone now have everything where you want to know in the iPhone. Everything. It's like a brain without a head. Everything where you want to know in the iPhone. So you can't say you don't know again, you know. You can't say you don't know again. If somebody asks you something and you hear something said, if you hear something said, even if you hear a word where you don't understand, you're supposed to kind of just Google that word and find the meaning of the word and then understand what the person that say. And that means see them iPhone thing they're good for, you know. I see them type phone good for us. Make me have a certain background of what is said to me, especially when you hear certain people say certain things, you hear certain people quote certain things. You hear that man I say, in Isaiah this, that. You just go look for Isaiah and see what I say. Or in a this, that man saying that Peter's, or in a Matthew man say that. You can just Google that, you know, right away. And the whole chapter. If not, you can read all the whole book. The Quran, the same thing. You can't Google anything in the Quran. You can't Google anything in the Bhagavad Gita. I know you don't even know what I talk about. But these are books long before the Bible was written. Long before. It has stories in it that is necessary and important for development. You know, see it? We're too one-sided. We get one thing, one story, and that story is supposed to be this story, and every other story is wrong story. And we don't even know, say, it's not our story, it's his story. But we suck it, we lap it up. We lap it up to the point where we argue over it too. We argue over things where it no go so, it no really go so, but you don't know because you're ignorant to the real truth of the thing. Because how them bring it to you, them bring it as a truth. And you don't know, say that is not the truth. You know, see it? You don't know, say it's not the truth. You see it as a truth. And when you dig deep and deeper, you realize, but really, you mean someone really did believe this all the while, Rasta, and not no go so. Some people afraid of that, you know. Some people afraid. After them hold on on something, and them go find out, say, that's something there, wrong. Them afraid for come back and say, you know, say, right, that while me hold on on that, you know. But not no go so. Not no go so. Because as new information is presented, you're supposed to can use your thinking and analyze it, the new information. And sometimes the new information don't even match up with where you think, where you believe in. And the greatest thing is to know, say, you move, you advance. And as we always say, doubt is one of the greatest methods of investigation. Because when you start to doubt, you start to check out things and you say, you doubt this. And if you doubt it, you're going to investigate to say why you doubt it. And then you're going to find out the truth about it. So doubt is a move towards something greater than where you would have think. So don't be afraid of doubt neither. Don't afraid of doubt. You see it? Doubt is why people advance further and further. You see it? A youth, a child learn to walk. Him actually want to walk, you know, but him doubt him steps. You ever see some old people a move? The way them a move, you know, it's like them want to move and do certain things, you know, but them doubt themselves. You know, see it? And that is we have knowledge too. Knowledge tend to have that kind of vibration where You sup in some knowledge, and sometimes a little knowledge is better than no knowledge at all, because sometimes a man use a little knowledge and feel say him know everything. You have some people, them reach a certain stage and then them stop search. Like say, where them reach now is the final destination, and them not go nowhere else, and them tell you, say them reach there, and it not make no sense that you try to show them, say there's somewhere else to go. And you can see that in our political system, you can see that in our religious system. Our religious system don't allow us to move further, even if information is presented. And that is the greatest thinking. When information is presented, you must be able to analyze those information and come to a fuller understanding of self. Fuller understanding of self. You're supposed to look upon this information and say, look here, you know, say, when we look into that, it can't really go so, you know. And when we look into that, there's more to it than we meet the eye, you know. Because you need information. And we're going to repeat it. The man with the greatest inspiration is the man with the most information. Because you cannot be inspired outside of information. Is information inspire the brains? Information inspire you. So when a man say, boy, right now him get inspired, and him I put it over to some supernatural thing, all that come from in our brains, and him say, information. So inspiration without information lead you to superstition. Man must understand, information is the most important thing towards what we call it inspiration. And if a man say he is inspired, it's because him have a certain information about something, him get about it. And if you want to think, say, it's a supernatural thing that inspire you, then you know, say, you're gone in another way. Then you won't search for information. And you come to some little irrational conclusions continuously. Continuously, just irrational. You ever see some people just erratic, just behave erratic, and they don't know why they might do or say things, they just behave erratic. And when they behave erratic, they feel say them on the right path. But them don't have enough information. So they are inspired by something that is so-called beyond them. Like a man I say, boy, you know, say, I don't know, normal thing, this, you know. And he must say it, you know, he must say, I don't know, normal thing. What is not a normal thing? Where he might think? Where he might think? We have to move out of those irrational thoughts that carry to some supernatural things. When all the things them that we ever need is right here. There is nothing upon the earth that never come from the earth. There is nothing on this earth that never come from this earth. And anything man do, him can undo. Anything man recognize as something beneficial to man, him can use the same thing and make it destroy man. And one of the things that him use is your mind. Him use your mind to destroy your very inner being, inner depth, inner soul. So when you start to figure out things for yourself, you yourself look like you're irrational. When you start to come to the truth for yourself, it don't coincide with where you was taught. And I guess now the jostle between what you was taught and what you now know as the truth. The truth don't connect with what you was taught many moons ago or many miles ago or many time ago. And you start, some people get confused. When them start realize, all of that when them was taught was lie, them start to get crazy. And some people start to recognize, No. We're not going to get crazy because we come know the truth. You know. We're going to move forward. Forward we move. And that is what the truth is supposed to be all about. The truth is supposed to make you move forward. Doubt is supposed to make you move forward. Not forward into illusions and delude yourself about certain things where you don't know about. You know, see? But sometimes you can't rationalize what you know and what you should know. Because given where we have to deal with, we have one thing in front of we. And the one thing in front of we, I tell we, say, this is what it is all about. It's hard to tell a man, say, well, you know, say, if you did in Saudi Arabia, maybe you'll be a Muslim. And maybe you did in Tibet, maybe you'll be a Buddhist. It's hard to make him believe, say, you know, so when you are see a whole lot of people, they might hear about them something there yet. And them have a rationale to tell you, say, yeah, but every man are going to hear about it. Every man. Because every man have to come to where he must say, where he must think, where he must believe. You know, see it? So that is why you have so much wars and rumors of wars and nation and fight against nation. Because every man thinks, say, him have the right way. Him have the right thing. And when you look at all democracy come out of Europe. Communism come out of Europe. Protestantism come out of Europe. Roman Catholicism come out of Europe. And these are the things that control your mind. Because that is where the thing there, you know, is your mind that I try control. Them I try control. Them control your mind. And you know the man say your mind is a terrible thing for waste. We need to understand that most of the things them that we call truth is a next man truth and not our truth. Because we have come from a different side of the earth. Our ancestors have come from a different side of the earth. And we have a DNA that is totally different. And when we say totally different, we mean in ways, in cultural expressions. Because culture is the highest expression where you can find. If you take all the study, socialism, or social living, if you take religion, if you take politics, all of these things come from culture. All religions derive from a cultural understanding of the environment in which it was formed. That's why they must kill people in Saudi Arabia, or women in Saudi Arabia, for drive car. At least just the other day, I don't know if them change it, but it's years them have that. They must kill you, a woman, if she drive car. Can you imagine that? And them don't see it as wrong. Them don't see it as wrong at all. You know what I'm saying? Man go to war because of these religious beliefs and these political ideas. And when you look down the line of it, most of it is lies. And when you come find the truth for yourself, you look like you're outers. So it's time now, especially in a Black History Month, to wake up and live. Live, not just have life, but have it abundantly. And look upon how the trees and the birds, the flowers and the bees and all these things, the water, because even water have life. Water have life. Last night I spent most of my time, I look upon the sea. I watch it just go in and come out. The water just roll back and come forward. And every time it come forward, somebody splash higher upon the rock them. And we just look upon it and I say, but look at that. Can you imagine this go on every second, every minute of the day, and it not change the water? Yet still guess what? All it there are going like it now do nothing. Man can't survive without it. Man can't survive without the water. All you see where I go on. And even though it look like it now do nothing, it do many, many, many things. Because the life forms will exist in that water, maybe it's more than the life farm with upon the dry land. Maybe. Never get a chance to count it. But we just have to say that.
This is the cutting edge, and I FM will be there with you next Wednesday.